What's going on? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to everybody in the boxing grind. We back speaking on some Joshua, some Deontay Wilder, sizing it up. Did Joshua say he want to fight? Do I believe him? Absolutely not. You know, he comes out here with all this bullshit saying I got this belt, that belt. And, you know, I just don't believe him, man. I don't think he wants to fight next. And if he does want to fight, then Eddie Hearn don't want to fight. So somebody on some point don't want to fight. Do I think he could beat Deontay Wilder? Yes, I do. They not too far apart. And then the third best heavyweight from them not that far apart. You know, this is not a historic heavyweight division. You know, people was talking about how Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua was an all-time great fight. Stop it. That wasn't an all-time great fight. It was a great fight for its time, but when you go back to Bowe, Holyfield, Lennox, Holyfield, you go back to Foreman, Moore, you go back to Muhammad Ali, Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Foreman, Ken Norton, all those good heavyweights, you know, that produce classics. That's not a classic, bro. That's not a classic. An old ass heavyweight and Klitschko been knocked out several times, and a young gun and Anthony Joshua. But I tell you what it was a passing of a torch. A legit torch. You know, popularity just came on Anthony Joshua. He was more popular, you know, around the world at the time than probably Klitschko was worldwide, you know, ever. And that's not his fault that, you know, the popularity just oozing and dripping off of him and he got the swag. Ain't nobody even, hating on Anthony Joshua. But what we are hating on is the shit that he is saying, you know. Oh, I might not be ready for Wilder 2019, 2020. And he admits to ducking the man, and people excuse that. We don't give a pass for ducking. If he was a prospect, yeah, or a contender coming up, not a world champion, I'd be like, yeah, I feel him on that. Because I gave Anthony Yard the same G-Pass. For real. I gave a lot of the young fighters that's coming up the same G-Pass. I feel you. But when you become a champion, then a unified champion, there's nowhere to hide. You could be like Triple H 1200, one of my subscribers, my good homie. You know, 10 toes down, all that. But when you a champion, it don't matter about the number of fights that you got. Lomachenko's proven that. You know, he proven that. A lot of young guys, Lubin, if it was about the number of fights, Lubin and experience, Lubin would have never took on Charlo. He took a risk. He failed, but guess what? I respect the grind. I respect the hustle. I respect the risk taking. With Anthony Joshua, it's no more hiding. Talking about how he out there got to set up to my 21 fights, and then he's quoting Dylan White, let's go. Like, anytime a nigga being funny in a situation like this, when it's your wife on the line and it's real about business, it's really about a dollar, I don't take you serious, man. I really don't think he wants that fight right now. And he told you mentally and physically, the motherfucker ain't ready. And that's I can't respect, though. Because I can't respect you saying that Joseph Parker is a better fight, is a harder fight for you than Wilder. And Wilder is shit. He's garbage. He's this. He's that. Okay. And you scared to fight him. It's not even the thought. That's what it is. They scared of that, man. After watching this fight tonight, I understand why. Because every punch that grazed across Anthony Joshua's jaw, head for the most part, that Parker threw when he was aggressive, this dude was like really flinching and bracing, or those punches really was rocking him. He was really getting buckled and shit. And go back watching some of the replays, it wasn't even landing flush. You know, but can Anthony Joshua beat Wilder? Hell yeah. It's not a gap between them. They are equal, dog. However you like it or not. If it took Wilder 40-something fights, if it took Joshua 20 fights, they're equal. You know, look at the comparison. Both got a solid left hook. Both are right hand happy. Both can knock people out with the uppercut. You know, both got a good jab. I think Joshua's jab is better. It's not a lot better, but it's better. It's significantly enough better. But if you look at it, what makes up for that? When Joshua goes straight back, his head pops up. He can't go backwards. Most Europeans can't fight backwards and still be as functional as they're going forward. You look at Wilder, better footwork, quicker feet, faster hands, more powerful when you're talking about punching power. And on top of that, he's about 30, 40 pounds lighter than Anthony Joshua. And he got blazing hand speed. His hand speed is better than Joseph Parker. And he's longer and taller than Joshua, I believe. So he has advantages, man. And these guys are not it's really no difference. Most of the difference is people just don't like Deontay Wilder. It ain't because, oh, he's talking and shit like that. It ain't because he talking shit. Y'all didn't like him before he started talking, when he was humble and quiet and just racking up victories because his handlers told him he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Everybody don't develop at the same age. Everybody doesn't mature at the same age. And Wilder just so happened to be more active than Joshua. That's what people don't understand. You know, they're like it's a 10-year gap between them. Wilder was fighting every 2-3 months at one point, getting experience that he didn't get in the amateurs. And if that's the way his team handled him, okay, fine and dandy. You know, Joshua should have did the same fucking thing. You know? And, you know, people just want to do that. You know, people support Anthony Joshua ducking, to be real, before I start sizing it up for real in the second half of this video. Because they don't want to stomach up having to try to come with an excuse and giving Deontay Wilder his props. That's what it boiled down to. People hate stomaching their pride and spitting the truth, man. And for people out here saying that, oh, not Deontay Wilder fanboys, it's not Deontay Wilder fanboys. Why does it, when it comes to a black fighter and the black people or black community, Lions Den box community, YTBC, YouTube box community, why when it comes to whoever it may be supporting Deontay Wilder, when it comes to supporting a black fighter, Earl Spence, Keith Thurman, when it comes to supporting Gary Russell, when it comes to supporting Adrian Broner, when it comes to supporting Floyd Mayweather, when it comes to supporting this and that guy, you know what I'm saying? Why is it an issue and you got to be labeled a fanboy? A fanboy is a guy that's riding with a motherfucker right or wrong. No matter how dumb he sound or how ignorant his statements may be, like Joshua blatantly ducking saying 2020, and that's being a fanboy, supporting him. Oh, yeah. You know what? He ain't got that many fights. You know, 2020, man, he got to get his fights up. But it's the same Anthony Joshua don't even want to fight 2 times a year now. 2 times a year for the next 10 years. That's 20 fights on top of 21 fights. That's 41, 42 fights if you factor in the fight this year. He ain't getting to 50 fights. He ain't going to have no 10-year career. Ain't no guarantee for that. 10-year careers is a rarity in boxing. Even on the prize fighting level. So that's a fanboy. Going with the most ignorant and crazy statements and still supporting the guy. Supporting the guy even if you know he going to lose. It's a flyweight versus fucking heavyweight. You still saying the flyweight got a chance. That's a fanboy. Supporting Deontay Wilder and his crusade to get Anthony Joshua in the ring, that's not fanboy shit. And anytime black people support blacks, you know, it's an issue. And I'm here to destroy that narrative and telling you to shut the fuck up about that shit. But if you're talking about sizing up in the ring, I was favoring Anthony Joshua. Anybody that listened, I defended Joshua several times, and I'm just a hunted dude. I'm a trill dude. And a lot of people can't understand the trillness and the real shit that I bring. You know, I'm just calling it how it is. I don't have no horse in this battle. Only reason I start, you know, backing Deontay Wilder is for the simple fact that I want to see the fight. That's it. Even homie from Trap House Boxing, JB, even said, only reason I sit on Anthony Joshua because I want to see him fight Deontay Wilder. It's nothing personal. It's not. We just want to see the fight. Same thing with Keith Thurman, Earl Spence. Keith Thurman was my favorite fighter at one point. He's still up in the top 10. But I got to shit on him because I want to see the fight versus Earl Spence. Same thing with Danny and Matisse. I wanted to see the fight. But sizing it up, man, I think Wilder going to beat this guy. You know, obviously, you know, Joshua was effective coming forward. But, you know, the way Joseph Parker moved around the ring tonight, even though it was survival mode type shit, because he didn't have a height and a length really to be effective from distance. And he wasn't aggressive enough to get inside the reach and fight from the pocket. I just think Wilder is effective from long range. I think his defense is better than Anthony Joshua. His movement, his awkwardness. Does he get out of position? Yes. But from what I see from Anthony Joshua is when it got punched, he ain't too much willing to counter all the time, especially if he feels some heat coming back. He'll cover up and then make his move way on the back end. And Deontay Wilder is able to get away with some of the idiotic, dumb commitments that he make in the ring with some of the most wildest shit that we ever seen in the world. Windmilling and shit. He able to get away from that because he's 6'7" and long. And on top of that, he's an athlete. He's able to move his head and move his body and get the fuck out the way. Joshua here stay right in the center. And then when Joshua backs up and when Wilder comes forward and be aggressive and still allow the punch and reach for a guy like most guys, when Joshua backs up, he backs straight up. His chin pops right on up. And he's a sucker for the right hand. He's not a guy like Ortiz that I believe can just take away the right hand. He ain't skilled like that. You know, he don't have the understanding and the IQ of that. And I don't see him developing that in this short of time if they're going to fight in September, or August. I don't believe they will. But even in years or 2 years, you don't develop that trait. That's something that was bred in Ortiz and skilled fighters from the amateurs and early on in the pros to be, you know, programmed to be able to take away and have an IQ. And both of these guys got a late start. I just think Wilder's explosiveness, athletic ability, quickness, speed, his height and his length, and his ability to box on the back foot and move and do what Joseph Parker did tonight, but be more aggressive and have the length to get home, is going to be the difference ultimately. But I definitely can see Joshua winning this fight. But the main reason I'm pissed at Joshua and Eddie Hearn for not making this fight, because Deontay Wilder says he wanted to fight, is because it's what the heavyweight division needs. It's the fight they've been missing since Lewis and Vitaly Klitschko got it on, Lennox Lewis and Vitaly. This is the fight that definitely brings boxing back at least into some of the major sports conversations in America.